I've selected 6 varieties of tea, and Jesse doesn't know which is which. But these are some of our favorites from Stash. We'll see if he can identify which ones they are. I want you to know that I actually hand-washed cups so that we would have enough cups.
That's great. This is typical Misty here.
It really is.
Go big or go home? Is that what this is?
Well, we are at home. So
six
go big at home.
6 teas.
Yeah.
All right.
Because Overkill is my middle name.
Okay. You had a plan for this one, a theme.
I do have a plan.
Go ahead.
So, with this particular episode, I wanted to talk about kind of how we got started in the world of tea and
story time. Right.
And how we came to
the world of tea.
Want to taste tea and share it with others. So, I'd like
to
hear your version of the story because I
me first.
Think it's very different from mine. Do you want me to go first?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, you go first.
Okay. So, I first discovered tea when Jesse took me to the Stash Tea store, which is local and close to us, and I realized that there's more to the world of tea than just bagged tea, and they had all these fancy loose leaf teas, and one of the best ways you could experience them and try them before you purchase a whole bunch of loose leaf tea is to do these little tea flights, which were their little sampling of tea. So you'd choose like 3 or 4 teas, I think it was, and then they would just bring you a tray, much like this, and you would try the different teas and see what you thought. A couple times we even did a blind tea tasting where we selected 4 varieties, but we told them not to tell us which was which, so we could kind of figure out which ones our favorites were. And I tried almost every tea variety that Stash had to offer, and then they discontinued a bunch of my favorites, and I was super bummed, but that caused me to branch out and start exploring other brands and other varieties of tea. And so, honestly, I have to thank Stash for getting me started in the world of tea.
Stash.
And they still have a lot of really great varieties that I enjoy. So today I have a bunch of our favorites, some of which are discontinued, unfortunately, but we'll taste them and tell you what we think. Okay. I'd love to hear your version of the story.
She should be thanking me.
Is that how it is? I see.
Yeah. Basically, you've tried tea, you'd have mint tea or whatever. But I stopped drinking coffee and switched to tea and started getting different varieties. I encouraged her to try some black teas. You might like them. No, they've been caffeinated, not good for me. Finally got her to try some tea, took her to Stash, and we have since tried all the tea, not just from Stash. It's a thing. I said, hey, let's try fish. We got a small fish tank. We have 10 tanks, or had at least, with all the fish.
That's true.
Yeah. Board games. Same thing.
We'll show you the wall sometime.
Rockets.
300.
Good. Come with us. Launch a rocket. No, I don't want to launch a rocket. Come, try. We have all the rockets now. I'm not complaining. I love this about you. It's fantastic. But it was fun to do the tastings, to go to the store, get the flight of different teas, and try them. And then we started doing them at home. We'd get 4 or 5 different teas, or every time we get a new tea, we'd compare it to the others side by side. And so I didn't pick these. So I understand these are the nostalgia flight? What is this?
Yeah, pretty much.
From the beginnings, the origins. And are they all loose leaf? Maybe. So you're not going to tell me what they are?
No. Okay. I
Okay.
think you're going to recognize most of them immediately. These are some of our favorites from Stash.
Right. And typically with teas, start with the lighter ones because they're going to get more bold as you go, typically. So you want me to start?
Yeah, although if we're starting with lighter ones, I probably should swap.
I was just going to go blindly. If they're lighter or darker, it doesn't matter. I meant these 2 versus these 4.
Yeah, well, there might be some flavor strength differences as well. I can tell also that my volumes levels are not even close to the same.
Whatever.
When he does this, they're all the same.
It's okay.
It looks...
Sorry, I was just thinking, she does have a problem with volume sometimes. She'll fill it to the top and then think she can add a little more in. Doesn't work.
I mean, there's like surface tension, right?
Yeah. It's okay. It's very yellow.
I promise you that's not pee.
I already know what it is. I like this tea.
I like that one better cold, but it is one of my favorites.
This is a good tea. It's a good summer tea. I like it in the summer. It's very refreshing.
So when you asked if all of them were loose leaf teas...
This one's not a loose leaf tea. I don't even know if they make it loose leaf tea.
No, I don't think.
This is sweet honeydew. I did not think I was going to like this. Misty got this tea in a sample pack or something from Stash. I was like,
I think I specifically asked you to go and buy a box of it, actually, because I had seen it somewhere, and I was like, let's try it, what the hell?
Right, and I wasn't sure I was going to like it, but it surprised me. Of the, I guess you'd call it fruity teas.
I mean, kinda.
It doesn't sound like it would be good, but I really like it.
I wanted to try it as an adventure, and I'm honestly surprised as much as I like it as well. It's a green tea, and I typically don't like green teas very much.
It's actually a green tea. What is
this one has just the right
Yeah,
amount
green
of
tea,
flavor balance.
natural melon flavor, and natural guava flavor are the ingredients. And it's just a really good, refreshing tea.
Refreshing, sweet,
Anytime
mild.
tea.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah, I enjoy it quite a bit. I like it better when it's cool or room temperature. I'm not a big fan of it.
I will
hot.
drink it at any temperature. There are some teas that are better hot or cold or usually not very much in the middle. That one I can drink at any point. And you can steep it for quite a while. It doesn't get overly obnoxious.
Its flavor, I think, turns a little bit more sharp if you way oversteep it.
Well, we're talking 30 minutes or something.
Yeah.
Don't steep your teas for 30 minutes.
It's a very bad idea.
Ooh. I think I know what this one is too. Just by the smell.
I steep that one longer than usual.
I like it that way better.
But we like
if it's
it
what
that
I think
way.
it is.
Yeah. Which is why I chose to steep it longer.
It's not the flavor I was thinking of, but I still think it is what I think it is. I'll stop talking now.
I steeped that one for like 3 minutes.
I see I would have gone 4 or 5. Silver Needle?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Can't go. She's picking my all-time favorites here. You're not gonna go wrong.
So Silver Needle is a white tea. It's called Silver Needle because it's
Fantastic.
actually got like little
We
needles.
were talking about this yesterday, what made it a white tea, and these don't look like tea leaves to me. They look like, well, I just picked them. They look still green. They're not the black, dry, powdery things. These I could unroll them and get. Well, they're still a little dry, but they're still fuzzy.
Yeah, downy leaves.
Okay, so I'm good to go. I'll just go back to my desk and take these with me. These are great.
So Silver Needle, white tea, really fantastic. Unfortunately, one of the varieties that has been discontinued from Stash, but other brands offer
Yes,
Silver
Silver
Needle
Needle
tea.
is still out there, even though Stash isn't carrying it. Which is actually another reason why we started picking teas from other places. Well, we can't get what we like from Stash anymore. Let's try other varieties. So
And we'll do a video at some point of all Silver Needle varieties side by side. Because I think Curious Tea makes 6 different kinds of Silver Needle.
yeah, it's true.
Or maybe 4, but
I think we've tried a comparison between those, and
they're very similar.
super subtle differences.
But they're all really good.
They are all good. You can't go wrong with the Silver Needle, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I should start on this end.
Yep.
I'm gonna have now. The pressure's on to see if I can tell what they all are.
I think you'll have no trouble at all.
It's one of 2.
Mm-hmm.
It's caffeine free. I didn't have very many caffeine free teas. I like drinking tea all the time. 10 o'clock at night, it's not good to get a dark black tea with caffeine in it.
So I'm told.
Or when you're tutoring and you think it's caffeinated tea and you have 6 cups of it throughout the evening and wonder why you're so bouncing off the walls while teaching.
It's better than falling asleep in the middle of a math lesson.
Yeah, it wasn't decaf tea that I had that night.
I think you just kept asking me to keep refilling your cup. You were like, this is good, can I have a refill? And I kept refilling
Yeah,
it.
but I kept putting a new bag in it. We had 2 varieties of tea that were almost the same with decaf and non-decaf, but chose the wrong one.
It's kind of funny. He gets hyper when he has too much
Side
caffeine.
stories.
I don't think it does
I've had a
much
lot
to
of
me.
sugar and caffeine. If you count apples, we just had like 5 apples or something. There's a lot of sugar in that. This is
I
good.
think my baseline is higher, so it doesn't affect me in quite the same way.
Right. Your daily intake of sugar. This has got to be honeybush.
Well,
It's either that or rooibos.
taste this one and then tell me which is which.
Oh, okay.
I'm not even sure I remember which is which. But I'll know if I taste it.
Well, I think I'm going to stick with my original guess. They're actually quite similar.
They are pretty similar. So those are some of our favorite herbal tea varieties. Organic rooibos and
You sure you didn't
organic
mix them up when you're moving
honeybush.
them around?
I don't know which is which between honeybush and rooibos.
That's what I mean. I think I got it right.
Yeah, you probably did.
Okay. You weren't sure, so I was like,
I'm
wait a
not
minute.
sure which is which between
Got
these
it.
two. I just know
Here,
that
smell the,
those are
the,
not
the
black tea.
honeybush and this one. I'm sure
Okay.
this one's the honeybush. We'd been out of that for a while, and I just went to Stash the other day and got some more. It was glad I did.
You think this is honeybush and this is rooibos?
You're making me doubt myself now.
Yeah. I think you got it backwards.
Probably. They're both good. Let's hope you give the can. Let me smell
After tasting them, I agree with you.
Oh, good. I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So this one is honeybush and this is rooibos.
Yeah.
Yep. And this one also has
And
a
these
little
are-
tiny bit more sediment on the bottom, which is with the really, really tiny
Mm.
fragments of the rooibos.
Okay. And these are another two that I can drink at night and not go caffeinated too far.
They don't come in these fancy tins, by the way, but these are also from Stash brand.
The
they were-
labels are conveniently covering up a Santa.
Santa Claus. These were on sale. The most economical tea tins we could find were the Christmas ones that were being discontinued. So we got a whole bunch of Santa tins and covered them up, and they just kind of
They
look
look great.
colorful and festive. Yeah,
All right,
those
so
are
now
really good.
we're done with the organic. No, not organic.
Well, they
Herbal.
are
Herbal.
organic herbal. What's it?
I mean, it's a plant. It's got to be organic, right?
These are black teas.
Okay. Let's see. What do we have here? I know that smell, but I can't think of what it is right now.
Oh, then it must not be your favorite one. Because you'd know that one at an instant.
Interesting. I haven't had it in a while, though, so I may not remember. I think one of them is the. Every time I say it in my head, I think of an actor instead of what it actually is. But this is the Earl Gold, whatever,
Oh, yeah.
one of them. The other one might be Lady Grey.
Mm-hmm.
Lady Grey is a bit more lemony, and I think that's the Lady Grey here.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Earl Gold Grey. What the heck is
King
it?
Midas.
King Midas. See,
Earl Gold.
Earl Gold. Right, King Midas Earl Gold. It's got a very distinct smell and flavor. And this is one I have to be careful not to steep too long. 2-3 minutes on this one, otherwise it just gets odd. I think that's why I didn't get it right away. It's very good. I thought I was going to like the Lady Grey a lot more than I do. I found that well, a lot of people really like lemon in their teas. It's not for me as much. The Lady Grey is subtle, and again, if I don't oversteep it, it's still really good. But I'll far prefer the orange or bergamot flavor.
Mm-hmm. They're both Earl Grey type varieties.
Yeah. Those are actually both really good right now, side by side. Almost the way they've been steeped, harder to tell apart than I thought they would be.
I like the Lady Grey a little bit more. I find the King Midas is a bit more bitey.
That's why I don't steep it 4 minutes. Yeah, 2 to 3 minutes on the Earl Grey, Midas, Gold, King.
Yeah, that would have been the way to go. Ooh, this is bitey too. Yep. Oopsies.
The Earl Greys, in general, I find don't need steep very long. But, yeah, you get the All-Stars here. These are really good teas. Kind of what got us started. We got some of these first. And then we heard they were going to discontinue some, so we bought as much as we could.
They still have the Lady Grey.
Oh, yeah, the Empress Lady Grey is definitely a common one.
But this is one of Jesse's favorites, the King Midas Earl Gold, and that's one that's
The
been
smell
discontinued.
of that is fantastic, just in the loose leaf. Very good. It's the bergamot orange and then a little bit of a flower in there. I can't remember what it is, though. It's blue. Oh, no,
It
it's
might
not.
be blue cornflower.
Could be.
I don't know.
I don't see any blue, though. They're like orangish pink. I don't know. I like it.
Fun stuff. So which ones are you taking and which ones am I taking?
I've already had a cup and a half of tea already. I'm curious now, after having those heavier ones, if I can taste this one as much. It's definitely seems weaker, but it's still there, actually. It's just
Makes
a real...
sense because it's white tea.
Right, well, I mean... But not so much that I can't taste it. I was afraid it would just be washed out, like just taste like water.
I definitely overdid these. That's such a shame.
Yeah, a little overdone. Still drinkable, but
Tastes like
Past-
roasted lemons.
past their prime steeping on those two.
So sad.
The herbals, it depends on the tea. You have to test it out. Definitely go by the recommended on the package first. Literal boiling water, not just a couple minutes in the microwave or
I
just
did that.
or the hot tap. We used to do like 2-3 minutes in the microwave, and it would burn your finger and you touched it, but it was still measured it. It was still like 160 degrees. You need 210 to be boiling, and most all of these say boiling. It just makes more of the flavors come out of the water. Yeah, you gotta wait for it to cool off to drink it, but it will taste better. And then, yeah, the timing, that's where you get your taste from. So I start with what they say, and on the white teas, and some of the, like, honeydew, I experiment and go a little bit longer, and I like them better that way. I found that I had been way over steeping my heavy black teas, like the Earl Greys, and I've pulled those back and like them much better now. Which also makes it so that you can sometimes get 2 or 3 steepings out of the same leaves, especially when you're doing loose leaf.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
My favorite, I think, even above these, is, now my mind went blank, Wild Yuchi.
Yep.
I can steep that same set of leaves 4 or 5 times.
And what's funny is it was one of the more expensive premium black tea varieties. And you're like, yeah, it's good, but is it really that much better? Do we need to spend money on the better black tea?
And it wasn't that much. It was more expensive from Stash. Quite a bit more, like twice as much.
Mm-hmm.
And then Stash discontinued it, and we found it at Curious Tea from England. We actually buy it from England and have it shipped here. And it's not as expensive through them. Even though we have it shipped over
From
an ocean,
England.
it's less expensive and more in line with some of these, and still very good.
Mm-hmm. So maybe one of our next episodes will feature some Curious Tea
And
varieties.
it's interesting. Some tea varieties from different companies will taste quite different. whereas the wild Yuchi doesn't, because it is
Only from one
from
specific
one region on one mountain by a single lake in wherever it is. I can't vary that much. You pick them from the place and get it. That's all there is to it.
Maybe Stash got outbid and they don't get to pick in there anymore.
It's possible. I don't know. Don't know how big that region is. It can't be too rare, and they'd really jack up the price on it.
Yeah.
And we're not talking much anyway. I think it was
Like $25 for a bag of tea.
well at Stash,
Yeah.
but through Curious Tea, even after shipping, it might have been 10 or 12 at the most, and it'll last you, especially the number of teas we have, a long time. And if you're steeping it 4 or 5 times each, you're getting a lot of tea for your money. Can't do that with many bag teas.
No, not very many bag teas will stand up to that.
No. Maybe 2 steepings. They just don't last for some reason.
Well, this
You're
is
just
fun.
like down in them, man. What is this? Wow. At least it's a caffeine-free one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. Thanks for joining us on our trip down memory lane to talk about how we got started.
How do you do? That's good stuff.